Hey, it's Dominic D'Angelo. It's a Friday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. And I am flying solo just for the time being as we wait for Robert Karplus. He's on a work assignment currently, so he'll join when he's able to. But thank you all for joining here today. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. We got Cammie Star. She asked a good question, which we'll get to in just a second. But she also says, after my big long question, after morning all. And then we also have, we got Jeff Hanger. Hello, R&I, made in time for the countdown. Good to hear. Good to hear. Devin Dowling, all regular here, says hello, ayo. And Triple E with his signature, what's up? He co-opted that off the Dudley Boys and the Budweiser commercial where it originally aired on. We also have Jeff Hanniger also saying, is Robert still doing the C2 math? He's really working at it, crunching the numbers there, crunching numbers. Cammie's got a plate of cookies to watch. What kind of cookies? Christmas cookies. My favorite Christmas cookie, straight up sugar cookie. You can't beat it, right? Those are my number one. Favorite cookie in general, though, probably Oreo. But hey, we can talk food anytime. We can talk wrestling anytime, and we do every Monday through Friday here on this showcase of platforms we got going on several YouTube channels, which we'll plug later on. And things like that. But we got some things to discuss. John Cena finally reacted to the blowback that everybody's been receiving when it comes to his retirement match. Lots of controversy going on. People up in arms about Cena tapping, smiling and tapping. And John Cena addressed such on What Do You Want to Talk About with Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes' podcast, if you're not familiar with that. So this is how Cena explained it here to Cody. As I essentially take my last breath, I have struggled. If you think of somebody, the natural causes scenario, or however we picture a loss in life, all of us have been through it. They struggle. They hang on just long enough to make sure they say goodbye to everybody that's been meaningful in their lives. And the whole day was so many unbelievably vulnerable, meaningful conversations. And then you realize I've got connected with everybody I love. Physically, I feel great. I think it's time to take that last breath, and that's that. I hate to keep going back to morbidity, to obituaries, but like, this person died peacefully, and knowing that, like, man, we are in a good place. We're going to be great going forward. The bottom of the t-shirt says, I gave everything. Thank you for everything. And in that one moment, that was that, going peacefully. So Cena, I think, explains it really nicely and beautifully, I think, too. It is. It's a poetic finish, and it's what should really happen if you're telling a really compelling story. And but is it good for business? Is where I got kind of lay onto it. Yes. What is next? You think always what's next. And if Cena wins, Cena's gone. There's no retaliation. That story is completely done. So in wrestling, the show must go on. So I certainly understand an aspect of like, okay, we'll have Gunther beat him and make the most of it. While I think that's cool and that is definitely good to do, I think you run into the issue of you don't have the next man up. Now, Gunther is like the next dominant monster heel up, but who is your next baby face up? And that's where the concern for me lies, because you don't have, while The Rock and Austin leave, you still had some good guys like Rob Van Dam, friend of the show, Kurt Angle, also friend of the show, and others to kind of pick up, a little bit of that slack when things go on. And then and Eddie Guerrero too. And so you have a lot, and Rey Mysterio, you have those guys kind of helping build that transition over. Now, we don't have that ruthless aggression Cena showing up, or we don't have a Batista in the wings. Now, there's a Braun Breaker in the wings, and I think he would be great as a baby face ultimately, that people can really get behind and want to cheer for, because he's got that wild mentality, and he's got that Steiner vibe to him, but he's just he's very polished, and he's ahead of the game. So I do think there's a Gunther there, but I don't know where you go. Like, the big crux of this all, the follow-up on the next night on Raw, where Gunther cut that promo, not a good start. Seemed very forgettable, and not even the best promo that night. And that's not saying that it wasn't a good promo. It's just not going to resonate for a long time, I don't think, as much as it could. A little preview. This Monday on Click This, Kevin Nash presents it in a very, very good way of how it should have been done. So there's a hook for Click This coming on Monday. Kevin, like we recorded last night, and Kevin broke it all down really well, and he gave props to John Cena for that promo he gave. So be on the lookout for that. You guys get the early scoop here on River and Innuendo. But be sure to tune in on Monday to get Kev's full thoughts on it. It's good stuff. But yes, I just think the follow-up with that promo, not good. Not a good start. Doesn't really ride off of that momentum of Gunther beating Cena. And so WWE's got some work to do when it comes to that. You can still rebound from it, but how are you going to ride this momentum, get Gunther to a dominant place, and then build up the perfect adversary to unseat him at some point in time and make it really, really feel special? So you need that organic kind of charismatic person to do that. That's, aside from Braun Breaker and maybe a Jacob Fatu, who is that person right now? Who is that person? I think that's the underlying question. Devin, I do not host Click This. I am a part of the production team, though, however. So I am behind the scenes. I'm the social media guy, essentially, for Click This. So that's where I lie in that. So I tune in for the live recordings and stuff like that. It's fun. Go to clickthisTV.com, sign up there, and you can be a part of that. You can be a part of the pre-production. We do a little pre-show. So you see me and all the other production team behind the scenes, and then you get Sean and Kevin, and you get some added entertainment for sure. Sometimes the pre-shows are better than the actual shows, and we've said that several times too on there. So clickthisTV.com, consider it. It's a fun spot for sure. All right. So that's my thoughts on the Cena. I think what he said makes plenty of sense and is very artistic and very cool. I think it's a full circle thing for him. It's going to be really, the onus is going to be on WWE on how they follow up with it all to make it have lasting value, so to speak. Because if you think about it, if Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker and ended Undertaker's streak, and then you started to not make Brock feel like that big of a deal, then that's going to be the issue. I just do not think the follow-up on Raw was good at all. So, Jeff Hanger says, easier question is, what wrestling podcasts are Dom not part of? I'm kind of all over the map. I really am. I have my own thing. I got the RVD. One own thing is Studio One Sports and RVD. Then I help out with Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel. If you're not familiar with that, that's a Tony Richards. He's a wrestling historian. I produce that whole show. So, and if you want an education, tune into that. I also do clips for Briscoe and Bradshaw, stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw. Any YouTube clips that you see on there, that's all me doing that. Cammy says it right, though. Cornette. I am not a part of Jim Cornette's podcast. That is likely not in the cards for me. If the host is still the only... Oh, it's Sean Oliver. You got to tune into that, Devin. Sean's great. Sean is awesome. Look, you want to talk about some good chemistry. Sean is so thorough with stuff, too. I mean, he wrote the Todd is God book. He is somebody that really should get a hat tip for sure. But it's all subjective, though, Devin. So you have a right to your opinion. That's for sure. I've tried to do something like that, Dre Owens. There's some plans for some like a forbidden door kind of with wrestling podcasts and quote unquote journalists and dirt sheet writers and stuff like that. I have some plans for Studio One Sports. I used to have a show on WrestleZone called The Hot Tag, and it was like around the horn, but we'd go over 4 or 5 topics, and I'd be the Max Kellerman / Tony Reali, where I'd give points to people who won the round and stuff like that. And at the end, they'd get like a minute and a half to say anything they wanted about any topic that they wanted. So it was very around the horn-esque, and it was a lot of fun. I want to bring that back to Studio One Sports. So that was my game plan with that. All right. As far as anything else, when the thoughts of that, Cena's explanation, I think Cena's totally makes sense that Cena wanted to do that and have that Is it good for business for WWE at the moment? I'd say no. But how are they following up? The follow up has not been good so far. It really hasn't. That Raw, that's when you really need to start get things cooking. I understand you got Christmas and holidays are going to be in the way and everything. I just do not. You can't just go, okay, let's punt the ball until 2026 and then move forward from there because you want that momentum to still keep cooking. I mean, geez, you think about how the hottest I've seen WWE like as of recent was Cena winning the Intercontinental Championship from Dirty Dom. That was great stuff. That was like, man, I'm gonna remember this moment forever as a wrestling fan. And so I think that's good stuff. So there we go. Uh-oh. Devin, your basement's really flooding? Uh-oh. Or is that a metaphor for something? I hope it's not. Hope it's not. All right. So that's my thoughts on that. Another controversial topic that's been going around has been the Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Awards. Has anybody caught wind of this? So Sports Illustrated has like several writers on there that are part of it. I'm a good friend with several of them. John Alba, Zach Haydorn. Me and him are really tight. We actually ran Brass Ring Media together here when we merged for a little bit. And we also here I'm putting my one earbud away because I have a show that's going on still on my phone, and I wanted to make sure it's not making noise. But so me and him worked together. Rich Chino, he worked with a Cincinnati thing, but now he runs the Sports Illustrated aspect of the wrestling aspect of Sports Illustrated with SI now. But they released their 2025 awards, and wow, a lot of AEW thoughts, lots of AEW thoughts indeed. So let me pull this up. This is a tweet from Tony Khan. We'll read Tony's tweet in just a second. But alrighty, you guys ready? The promotion of the year went to All Elite Wrestling. The female wrestler of the year went to Mercedes Moné. The male wrestler of the year went to Adam Hangman Page. The tag team of the year went to FTR. Best in the ring went to Will Ospreay. Best on the mic, Timeless Tony Storm. Breakout wrestler of the year, Kyle Fletcher. Storyline of the year, Hangman Adam Page's redemption arc. Rivalry of the year, Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley. And the show of the year was AEW Double or Nothing. Now, just looking at that, you would think that's all the awards, right? That seems like all the major ones. Well, match of the year did go to WWE with Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. There was another heel turn of the year went to Naomi. It's debatable for sure when you consider who turned heel. But that's a subjective thing too, because the John Cena heel turn wasn't that great, but wonderfully executed either. So you can make an argument for that for sure. So there was definitely some other awards that went, but those are like some heavy hitting categories, right? So looking at that on surface is like, I don't know about that. Let me pull up Tony Khan's tweet here. Why don't we do a little share screen and we'll get that up and cooking here so everybody can see it. Hopefully, can we see it here? Can I see it like this? No, hold on, I got to pull it up. So we'll pull it up right here. Boom, look at this. All right. So here we go. That didn't help too much. But so this is what Tony Khan had to say. On behalf of AEW, thank you, fans who watch AEW, and thanks to the journalists panel that I'm just pulling this up right here. Thanks to the journalists panel that voted AEW as a top company and recognized 8 top AEW stars, with AEW winning a total of 10 Sports Illustrated Wrestling Awards in 2025. Congratulations, award winners in Team AEW on these hard-earned awards. So there we go. I know and as he should be, like Tony Khan is going to tout this, no doubt about it. And he's going to use this as a bargaining chip. Like when it comes to when he's asked questions on media conference calls or at press conferences or in interviews, he will go back to the Sports Illustrated. Well, Sports Illustrated nominated us for all this. We got a great year in 2025. And so he will be using that like Becky Lynch uses that. but Becky Lynch is in character. Tony Khan will be serious. And so he's going to use that moving forward, as he should. I'm not going to fault him for that. But I do think it. Now, I know for a fact everybody's saying that, oh, no, this was all angled towards AEW. Sports Illustrated is doing this must have be in cahoots here with AEW. I know for a fact that that's not the case. And I don't work for Sports Illustrated. So I am an outside party here. So I just know that all this was above board, the voting, and that's just how the chips fell. And do I agree with any of those? Not really. I don't agree with any of them. Like maybe you can make an argument for some of those people to be in the category that they are. And hey, but AEW has not had a great year. They just haven't. They've been improved, I think, since 2024. But I mean, to say that they've won all these things and AEW is the promotion of the year. Promotion of the year me and Robert will have our own year-end awards, I'm sure. But promotion of the year should go to TNA if you really think about it. Like, geez, you think about the leaps and bounds that they made throughout the course of 2025, like, the collaboration that they've had with WWE, and then, man, just them getting the shows that they put on and the ticket sales that they've had, like, just a huge improvement. And then let's not forget, geez, that AMC deal that just came down the pipeline. So undoubtedly, it should be TNA that's the promotion of the year. And hey, we'll break and parse apart all those parts about the categories. And Robert and I'm sure will give our own wrestlers we'll give our own wrestlers of the year awards when the time comes here, probably next week at some point, or not next week, week after, whenever New Year's is, like before New Year's ends, we'll do something. But I did just want to talk about that because, man, a lot of that JD from New York guy has really gone on and said, like, this is ridiculous. And, AEW and Sports Illustrated are basically, in cahoots. He's blocked me on X, by the way, this JD from New York. Listen, if you're not on social media, good for you. Good for you, because you don't have to deal with all this nonsensical kind of discourse that is really not important in the grand scheme of things. It's so funny. JD in New York has me blocked. Let's see. How am I still I guess I'm just okay, yeah. So I'm able to look at what he says, but I am not here. I'll show you proof here that he's blocked me on X. Boom. Okay, there's a cute cat though. Props to the cute cat at least. Oh yeah. So yes. So sorry. I like the cat. JD from New York has blocked me though. Let's see what we got here. It's just been a whole lot of discourse going on here. I'm trying to find. Okay, so him and John Alba have been going back and forth at it. This is crazy. Lots of discourse. If you guys want some fun X drama, this is kind of fun stuff. But let's see here. JD from New York. This is the original tweet I believe he made. Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling year-end of the award for 2025, bought and paid for by Tony Khan. So blatantly a counter by AEW using that platform to peddle their BS against WWE and ESPN. How anyone believes that the slop they put together for that article is beyond me. It reads like a press release cosplaying as journalism. There's no analysis, no balance, just agenda dressed up as credibility. John Alba responds, 7 voters. Everyone covers everything. Point system for voting, all write-ins and not given options. It was about as fair as a process as possible. So it was bought by TKO. So was it bought by TKO last year when WWE nearly swept the awards? Conspiracy theories are cool until they're not, man. And then JD fires back. We're only going to go a little bit over this. Points, voters, who gives a Esh? John, the publication couldn't realize the difference between heel turn and heel run. Naomi's turn was better than John Cena. Opinion is opinion, but a claim to anywhere that John Cena's heel turn didn't shake the industry on the night it had happened to its core is preposterous, and coming from someone who loves Naomi's work. All right, so he's just going on. They go back and forth. Check it out for yourself if you want to really dive deep into it. Sometimes people love the tea being spilled, so feel free to do that at your leisure. Again, I am blocked by JD from New York. So I cannot respond or give my opinion in regards. I can't chime in. So Yeah, it's not. It was all above board. All above board. Wrote in. That's just how the chips fell. I don't agree with the results. But listen, when you have people vote and you have that go in there, like you have 7 people voting in there, I think it was 7 different writers, and so then giving their thoughts. And hey, like that's how it goes. Like people like wrestling, and it's a subjective art form. And if you tune into an AEW match and you see somebody like Kyle Fletcher really have a breakout year, which he did, but not to the level I think where he's the breakout star of 2025. Gosh, see. I have to do some thinking because I think certainly AEW really has to go above and beyond. I think to win a category because guess what? For better, whether you like it or not, they're a distant second place to WWE. So WWE, they get more eyes on themselves. They get more eyes on their product. They're going to be the ones that you have to unseat. This is how I view how I would vote. And like they would get, I would watch their stuff and if that really hit me and resonated with me, boom, then like, okay, it's going to be hard to top. I have the certain star for wrestler of the year. For me, I won't reveal it yet, but like it'd be hard to top this certain person for me. But like, so AEW would have to do extra legwork and make me really take notice something to be like, okay, this is the breakout star of the year, or they won the superstar of the year because of this. So like, it's all subjective. People have their own way to vote, and that's how it happened. But I did just want to defend Sports Illustrated and let everybody know that this was how it happened. This is not, they aren't in like the back pocket of AEW. They're not trying to curry favor. People voted this way, and that's just how it happened. Do I agree with it? No, I don't agree with the results on a lot of them, but that's just how it went down. Let's see. Everybody, people are already giving some really good ones. If you're blocked, stop. I don't care. I don't care. Devin, doesn't bother me. I like. I'm just talking about stuff. I'm blocked by Brian Last. Like I'll trash him too. Like if you make news and it's something I want to talk about, I'll talk about it. Tune into him if you want. I don't care. It's no skin off my nose. Look, I'm doing this on a daily show. If you tune in, you tune in. I'll do my best to promote myself, and I try to. But at the same time, too, I'm not going to just deter away because I don't like the person or give it. I'm not going to not talk about them. That's just not how I operate. Like, I'll talk about you if I want to trash you, or heck, if you do say something I agree with, I'll agree with you on that too. You know, like I agree with Jim Cornette on plenty of things, on his philosophy on wrestling and everything. There's a lot. I probably agree with more Jim Cornette on a lot of things than I do like a lot of wrestling pundits. But I don't get along. I don't like his podcast co-host. I don't think Cornette is all that sincere in what he has to say sometimes. Like like we all put on an act, but like Cornette puts on an act, I think, to an extent too. So yeah, no, it doesn't bug me to talk about people that I don't like or quote unquote promote them. Like, go follow JD from New York on Twitter. Yes, this is fine. This is live. Antonio, welcome to the show. And thank you for tuning in actually as well. Hey, let's talk about a little bit of our friends. Everybody's familiar with this. Something I will gladly promote is Blue Chew. That's right. Fellas, you already know what time it is. It's time to level up, and Blue Chew has just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level championship belt, gold-plated energy. That's right. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. This is the 4-in-1 beast that is selling the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping. Okay, bear with me here. I'm going to try my darndest. Mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves under your tongue and works in just as little as under 15 minutes. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. Evolution without hesitation. This is peak passion and peak performance in a single tablet. That's right. So, we got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code RUMOR. That's promo code RUMOR. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And hey, we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. So there you go. We are live. Everybody, we're live and ready to roll. I'm intrigued to see where Cena's last PWI number is. They released those in July, right? Is that because it seemed like they did the PWI 500 over the summer? So I don't know how his whole final run lines up. My thought process, he should be in the top 10 at the very least. It's John Cena. And that should have been like, yeah. I mean, like he took up all that TV time and promotion, arguably the biggest star in wrestling at that time for those final few months here. So I think he should be in top 10. But my assessment of how how I'd rank wrestlers is probably different than how other people do. Sports Illustrated, how some of the writers at Sports Illustrated they assessed and they ranked their numbers and their talents in a certain manner that is going to be different from their colleagues and mine. So, there we go. SmackDown preview. There's nothing. It's just from Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's all that has been promoted for SmackDown. I tried to do my due diligence. I looked first. I checked Fightful, which had nothing, and then I looked just where the location was and everything like that. I was like, "There's got to be something. Maybe WWE already announced. Maybe they're announcing something like in the immediate." And I went on their website. Boom, they're just still talking about NXT on their website. If you go there, I was like, "Let me check their X account." Nothing on their X account when it comes to what's on tap for what's in store for tonight's episode. Obviously, I'm sure we'll get something with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. You know, if they missed out on Raw, which I think they did to an extent with that Gunther promo, they really need to do something to kind of heat things up for WrestleMania season on this episode of SmackDown because we didn't get a great follow up. I think Punk's promo was an awesome follow up with Braun Breaker, but they weren't even a part of the show, Saturday Night's Main Event. So, there we go there. So there's nothing. There's no updates when it comes to SmackDown. Don't know. But like hopefully that they kind of write the course here when it comes to what they have planned here for WrestleMania season. I think that's the big issue. Like, yeah, Christmas is next week and Hanukkah's currently going on. So people are going to be busy and preoccupied. But I think it's important that you make things mean something too after one of arguably your greatest star of all time just retired and had his final match. Becky Lynch, speaking of doing great heel work, is Becky Lynch. I'm just looking at this headline here this is off of Fightful. While Becky Lynch was appearing on Busted Open, she had a pretty good quote, apparently. She's like, "No," Lynch responded when asked if she could stick around on the podcast. "I want an apology for saying that I tapped, spreading misinformation because I did not tap. It's clear as day I did not tap. I was waving everybody over. I'm not John Cena. I do not give up." Becky's awesome. Becky is awesome. And man, it just really makes me consider a lot of things of who I would nominate for certain categories in the year-end awards. Devin says, "Build to the Rumbles, always booty." Oh, it always stinks. Yeah, but I mean, you got to do the right thing here and make it seem important. I think just because that's the norm doesn't mean it should be the norm. I think they just have to really pay attention here because I think WWE is like in a kind of a dire, not a dire time because I mean they're well off and business is booming. You know, they're making money hand over fist, so they're in a great spot. Don't get me wrong on that, but I think if you want to preserve and keep the product healthy for long term, you got to start doing the little details of making your shows compelling, particularly after your biggest star of all time just had his last match on your program. So there's my thoughts there. Fortunately, no Robert today. His work assignment must have ran over, so he will not be here. But hey, I thank you all for being here today, and we will make our return on Monday like we do every Monday through Friday here on the at WE Creative underscore ish X account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on the podcast Heat Wrestling X account as well. Watch Podcast Heat. Plus, we're also on YouTube, on Ad Free Shows YouTube, on the Oh You Didn't Know YouTube channel, on Podcast Heat Wrestling YouTube. Check that out. Subscribe to that one because that's the one that helps Robin and out the most. So be sure to subscribe to Podcast Heat Wrestling. Why can't I say that word? Podcast Heat Wrestling. Man, I got to do some mouth exercises before I go live. And then Rumor and Innuendo YouTube as well. So uh, that's all I got to say. And I can't say no more. Oh, wait. Geez. Cammy, I almost forgot the story that you gave me today. Uh, yes, this is an interesting one. If you guys were attuned to Mick Foley leaving WWE. If you weren't, Mick Foley made the announcement earlier this week that he's going to be leaving WWE and letting his contract expire when it does in June, meaning his Legend deal will be done and he won't be taking merchandise deals with them. So that's all happening in June. And well, WWE has already seemed to strike back at Mick Foley when it comes to that promotion and merchandising aspect. Cammy put this on my radar. This was for Robert, but she says, "So Robert, you think there's some kind of retaliation towards Foley? His image was going to be the weekly event card on Supercard, and 2K said they were told to pull it last minute." Wow. So they're already making progress. You can all already imagine that if that 2K version, which is a mini mobile game, the Supercard, is already taking action, you could just probably imagine that Mick Foley will not be on 2K26 here coming up. And then, as far as the action figures go, maybe a few collectors are fans of Mick Foley. Start buying your favorite ones at when you can, because he might not be getting one for quite some time unless things change and cooler heads, I guess, prevail. But look, I'll say this. I commend Mick for doing what he did. I'm not a political person. I hate politics. I'm equally fascinated by politics, though, at the same time, too. So I do not subscribe to any party whatsoever. I do not. And, but I will say what our president had to say about Rob Reiner was irreprehensible and really despicable. And, like, no place for it. Tone deaf, selfish, egotistical. And so, and like Rob Reiner, man, what a great director he was too. You think I didn't know of all the films that he did. Like I knew before that he directed The Princess Bride, but it wasn't totally on my radar. If you asked me like, "Hey, who directed Princess Bride?" before all this happened, I would have had to think and maybe look it up. But I did remember hearing beforehand that Rob Reiner did it. But obviously, I knew he did Spinal Tap. He was Meathead on All in the Family. Oh my gosh, I didn't know he did A Few Good Men, a movie I actually have never seen, to be honest. But man, I mean, a historical movie for sure, like a legendary movie. And then he's done some other great stuff. That a diverse catalog for Rob Reiner, actually, as a matter of fact. So great director. From what it seemed like he was kind of like a salt of the earth person when it comes to Hollywood types, like very conversational, funny. And things like that. You don't necessarily have to agree with somebody's politics one way or the other to like them. I feel that way in a lot of manners. Like so. But yeah, I did just want to say I commend Mick for what he did. And but like I condemn uh, Donald Trump for what he had to say right after the fact of it all. Hey, I can talk about it. He's a WWE Hall of Famer, so both of them are. So there's my thoughts on that. All right. Hopefully that all makes sense. And hopefully we can make more sense when we return on Monday. Dre Owens does say A Few Good Men was great. I just knew him as Jesse's dad in New Girl. Really? That's all you knew him from? Oh God, Jeff Henninger, you are what a rube you are, Jeff. Dom, do you want anywhere Mick can get a new action figure deal? Oh man, what a funny. It's a funny comment. Hmm. Eric, he's been salty. Seems he's been salty. I'm not sure what this is in reference to. Am I missing something? Um, I feel for Mick, Lou says. He's a good person in his position. This is the biggest thing he has the power to do, make his voice heard. Unfortunately, it only really punishes his fans. No win situation. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not gonna. I mean, I like this. I appreciate the stance that he's taking, but like, what's it doing for anything at the same time too? But hey, you know, he has his convictions and feels that way. Good for him for being able to do that and taking a stand in that way because, some people don't do that. And, uh Mick feels like this is the way he can make his voice heard and take a stance. Good for him on it, man. You know, that's why this country can be great in certain ways. So there we go, everybody. There's the show. Happy Friday, TGIF. I already did the pleasantries. If you haven't yet, check out my. We got a question in here. Okay. Excuse me. What's your thoughts on TKO WWE fan base decreasing now and AEW crowds growing in? I don't know if that's necessarily true, King of the Hicko Mundos. I do know, I mean, like, WWE's got to be careful. I think they got to be careful of having this bubble burst of overpricing their tickets and pricing out a fan base in the long term. And then you got to think about like their deals with Saudi Arabia and having the shows. Royal Rumble is going to feel like a huge void when it comes around because it's going to be in Saudi Arabia this year, like it or not. And same with WrestleMania next year. I think those are some long-term erosion concerns that they could potentially have. And I do think AEW is maybe doing somewhat successful when it comes to ticket sales and things. I'm not attuned to the ticket sale aspect of things, but it seems like they are doing a little bit better, maybe from what I'm gathering. But at the same time, too, they've capped themselves off uh, unless they make some major changes to their creative product because you're only going to attract a certain type of fan base with that kind of product, plain and simple. So don't know if that's all necessarily true when it says. There could always be a moment that changes again, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But cool. Good question. Appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate everybody chiming in. So you can chime in on Monday. So yes, if you haven't yet, though, go to rvdtv.com. Check out the episode Rob Van Dam, birthday boy, belated birthday boy, and I do with Vince Russo and Violent J of ICP. Really fun conversations. We talk about that John Cena finish. We talk about Vince McMahon and like the crazy obliviousness he had to pop culture while Vince Russo was there and some opportunities that got missed out on to really make the most of some creative, fun parodies and fun stories that never came to fruition because Vince was just not, it wasn't on Vince's radar. So fun stuff there. Violent J also goes on a great speech about the John Cena finish. You've got to check that out. And you got to check out, too, it's right out at the beginning of the show. Both Violent J and Vince Russo give Rob some fatherly advice about being a dad. And it's really great stuff. It's really good stuff. Makes you like both guys all the more because, they're people just like you and me. They all make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes and, that kind of thing. So, all right, that'll do it. Check out JCW Lunacy too, like King of Hucho Mundo says. Check it out. It's great stuff too. All right, that'll do it for me. Best of luck in your future endeavors, and we'll see you next time here on Rumor and Innuendo TGIF. And smile when you tap. All right, toodaloo. Shh.